Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm proud to introduce you to Sheena Haberstroh, who uses drive and motivation to fuel her success. Sheena, it's a pleasure to talk to you today.
It's a pleasure to talk to you today, Sergeant.
And so it's so interesting that you have made data engineering your expertise and your passion. What first attracted you to the field of data engineering?
Actually, it just fell in my lap recently. I spent most of my career doing business analyst work. And then we did a whole bunch of reorg restructure within our company. And they put me in that division, and it just took off from there. My passion for data in general is just so big, and I love just just the meaning and the story it tells. And this this path that I'm on is just perfect for what I want to do in my future. So um, it's about foundation, it's about structural work, it's about building from the ground up as we moved in the future of technology. So it's just it's fascinating to me.
What are your actual daily responsibilities associated with your current role within Fannie Mae, which is an organization that most of us know about?
So right now we're on a move for infrastructure modernization. So we are migrating to the cloud. So we are setting up the foundation to move off of some old technologies into new technologies. And we are setting up the infrastructure for the cloud. And my group and my team, we are setting up the governance. We are setting up the foundation to step us into that future as we are moving forward um, with the directives of Fannie Mae. So we are just positioning ourselves for a better future, basically. And with that, it's all about discovery. It's nothing that's set in stone, nothing that's there um, that is written, or we have a guide. It's like test and learn. I'm so passionate about test and learn and course correcting along the way. So um, I am currently in a position as product owner. I am filling the shoes of that right now. So I'm leading the team. So I'm on the data side, and Fannie Mae is currently in conservatorship with the government, and we are in the mortgage industry. So basically, we work with the banks to lend money, so the homeowners can have their homes and get loans, and then we monitor that for the banks and the government. Right now, there's there's a lot of shift in where we might go in the future, but I'll let that.
Speaking of that, this is an extremely important field and it's obviously growing. So, what advice would you give to professionals who are literally just starting out in their careers?
So I'm going to take it a little personal. My drive started very young in my career when I got married. My my husband had cancer and he passed away last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So, but as far as my strength and perseverance, like he showed me that to never give up. He showed me like if you're knocked down, keep going. If you don't know something, go ask the question.
Mhm.
If I mean, networking is so important. Talking to people is so important. Getting to know your peers, getting to know your colleagues is so important. Important. Don't the old saying, don't judge a book by your cover. Get to know that person. People, whether they're young, they're old, has so much insight that you could take away from and to learn and improve. I have so many mentors from different companies from my 20-year career. Um, and I still talk to them to this day for advice. So my advice is if you find your passion and that's the key. It has to be a passion for you to progress.
That's a very good piece of advice for those who are actually interested in this area. But you've been working in this area for 2 decades. So, are there any subspecialties within data management or data engineering that you consider yourself particularly adept in?
So I am a very good at process improvement and finding the gaps in data and be able to quantify it. I'm able to tell that story. Like telling that story is data. There's so much data, and sometimes it can get overwhelming. But to be able to put it into concise packages where you could actually depict the story you're trying to tell. It's one thing to talk about it, but to have that visual behind that story, it's just like a little picture book for kids. Like it has to flow, right? And so when you're trying to prove your point or trying to say, hey, this is the direction you want to go, or this is the move we need to make, um, being able to tell that story with the data, with your visualizations, with and just have that knowledge behind the data. It's not just having data and it's just knowing the content and the purpose and digging into why the trends are going the way they are or what are we missing and being able to really hone in on that discovery work to be able to tell that full picture.
I'm just curious about your educational background because I know there are a number of people that are making notes here. Tell me a little bit about your background so that folk know exactly what you did to get to the point where you are.
Well, actually, that's pretty funny. I started out going intending to go into the medical field. While I was in college, and to the nursing route, I started working for business, a business company, and then my passion changed. I started, even though I started at the very bottom of the company while I was going to school and doing split. Like I started looking at, oh, how can I make this process better, or how can I do this more efficiently, or how can I make this easier for me? And it ended up being making processes more efficient for the company. And then as I work as that company got bought out by another company, which was a little bigger, which turned to Citibank, Citigroup affiliated. Then I started going more on the data side and doing more of the reporting, and then learning. And a lot of it was self-taught, actually. So as I discover new things, I would go research it and go, okay, how can I do this better? And then going to seminars and then going to classes. And so my degree is a general studies degree, but it was in business education and speech pathology. So I used all those skill sets to kind of hone in on how people learn at work, and I focus on training and then
Mhm.
getting the business piece, like how to lead people, and then I focused on leading classes and training, and then I went and took my own data management classes and started training on how do I code and how do I do this. So it's all self-taught and self-driven.
In science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is an area that we are really encouraging women and girls to make their mark in. So, how do you encourage more women and girls to enter those STEM fields?
So in the past couple of years, I've been involved in the Women in Technology group and in my company, and we've attended conferences and listened to like powerful women and leaders, uh, and that really inspired me. I mean, especially in my culture, um, where it is more like man versus woman kind of the culture is still there, but women are coming up in the forefront. It was really a drive for me to show that, regardless of my race, culture, it's what I bring to the table that really matters. And any anyone that knows me or has interacted with me, always see me talk to children, and like even my own daughter. I'm like, you could do anything you want to do as long as you have a passion for it. And it's just you need that drive, and if you want to do it, go for it. And we I also like we when we go to our we have little volunteer groups that we do. A lot of the stuff I like to do is like the financial literacy, and just encouraging that, um, math and science, and just innovation in itself. It's just a field out there waiting to blow up for these young girls, and I just always have that drive that you could do it, and
Oh yeah, I mean, come on now. Little brown girls are very popular right now. The very first Black and South Asian
yeah,
woman is Vice President of the United States. So you tell your daughter her VP looks like her, okay?
right, right.
She can do
No,
anything she wants. As you are rebuilding your emotional health and your family life, um, where do you see your career progressing from this point?
when I was asked if I wanted to take the product owner, it was shortly after my husband had passed, and I had just came back to work, and I had to really think, am I missing an opportunity here if I don't say yes, right? But I also wanted to make sure um, that my priority is my family as well this time, because this is a critical year for my children, and I need to be able to support them as well. Um, I took it knowing that I want to go to a position, a position where it's an individual contributor role, but in leadership, but where I could still have impact and help others, and still do the things I want to do in my community, and still um, do the passion things I need to do with my children. Because being a woman and a single mother now, in the workplace, there has to be balance, and it's not my children are very little, and I think that's what a lot of um, women struggle with. Like, how do you find that work life balance between work and home? And it's something that's challenged me for a lot of most of my career, because not only I was trying to raise children, my husband who was ill, and then still trying to drive work, right? So, but it's being able to set your priorities, and what are tangible tasks that you could complete and show progress on, and show yourself worth.
So, Sheena, as we wrap up, please tell me what's the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with?
The one thing that I would like our viewers to take away from this is believe in yourself, and know that you can achieve great things if you just keep trying.
Absolutely. And that comes from a professional who has literally walked the walk, not just talk the talk. Sheena, thank you so very much for your time today and sharing your story and your passion.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.